WUSA 9 Weather Watch Alert is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Marshall with this WUSA 9 Weather Watch update. We continue to track Tropical Storm Ophelia as the outer rain bands work their way into the region. We can see the center of the storm now just to the south of the Norfolk area, packing 50-mile-per-hour winds and also gusts at 65 miles per hour. Now, this is a bit weaker than earlier this morning when it had 70-mile-per-hour winds and gusts at 85 miles per hour. So we're consistently seeing that storm get a bit weaker. It's now 75 miles just northwest of Cape Lookout, North Carolina, and it's moving to the north at 13 miles per hour. But we've been feeling the outer rain bands from this storm for hours now. We continue to see it just lash out across the DMV area. Numerous flash flood warnings around the Carolinas. We haven't seen any of those yet here, but we could certainly see some coastal flooding. That would be one of the bigger impacts that we could see here. Here's a look at current radar right now. In some areas, we're actually seeing a break from the rain. If you look over Loudoun County, it's cloudy. You don't have steady rain. There could be a light drizzle here or there, but for the most part, no heavy rain falling over the Loudoun County area. D.C., now you're getting some lighter rain once more. If you look toward the La Plata area, a break from the steady rain for you. We're also seeing a break just south of Culpeper and near Fredericksburg as well. But that's not going to last long. Remember, it's going to come in waves, so it'll come at times and then slow down at other times. We are in the thick of this for the rest of today and tonight, even through early Sunday morning at 8 a.m. is when we will see, 11 a.m. rather, is when we'll start to see some of that rain begin to lighten up and disperse a bit and not be as steady. Radar estimates that nearly 2 inches of rain has already fallen around the Salisbury area. Meanwhile, for Metro D.C., most of the estimates have been about a half an inch or less in most spots, with a few spots potentially picking up on 1 inch as of now. We still got a ways to go. So what will happen is Ophelia will no longer be a tropical storm as the center of that storm moves over the area between tonight and early tomorrow morning, but it will continue to impact us with the rain. We do have Calvert and also St. Mary's County under tropical storm warnings, and that will continue. Here's what you need to know. Most of the rain will be coming between now and 11 a.m. Sunday. That means wet all day, wet all night, wet for at least the first half of Sunday. And then winds today will be between 20 and 30 miles per hour with gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour possible. We are under a wind advisory until 8 o'clock this evening. Impacts include power outages, downed trees, flooding, and coastal flooding. That is the big thing. A quick look at Futurecast does show that by 5 o'clock this evening, we're still getting those waves of rain into the area. And also by 7 o'clock, the rain is still falling. Your Saturday night plans are wet. Sunday by 5:30 a.m., rain still across the region. But look at this. At 1 o'clock, we see those showers break up a bit, become a bit lighter, and that's when we'll begin to get some relief. But right now, 62 degrees, barely rising temperatures, and over the next few hours, we'll continue to see those temperatures into the 60s with the breezy winds. We have team coverage for you of the Ophelia and its impacts in the area, including with our very own Katie Kairos, who is out scouring the streets, showing us what's happening out live. Katie?
Hello, good afternoon, Mary. Well, what a wet and soggy day. We have been out in Eco 9 all morning. We've been in Northern Virginia, in D.C., passing by the wharf and Navy Yard, and now we're coming in through Bethesda. We are on Wisconsin Avenue, and of course for Bethesda, it's always busy, always congested, always a fair amount of traffic here, but the roads are very wet out, so people are driving slower than usual. And we've had reports of a fair share of accidents and crashes happening throughout Montgomery County, especially on the Beltway and on our bigger roads, as we saw in Northern Virginia on GW Parkway. That was getting standing water starting even this morning, and now it's been raining for hours past that. So as you're getting out on the bigger roads, look out for that. There are some really large puddles, and be careful of your brakes getting wet as you're heading out today. But we've been seeing some wind gusts. Some people are going out, not in full rain gear because the rain picks up and lets off sometimes. Sometimes they're just wearing t-shirts and shorts and bringing their umbrellas, but then wind gusts are hitting them, and it can be a little bit wetter out here than you might expect if you've not been outside yet today. So look around for all of that. Keep in mind, here as we're turning onto Bradley Lane, heading into Chevy Chase from Bethesda. Wow, still a lot of traffic out here, and people are definitely getting backed up as everyone's driving slower on these wet and slick roads. So be looking out for all of that. If you're going to venture out today, of course, Maryland and Virginia have declared states of emergency ahead of the storm. We were at the Alexandria waterfront earlier today. They've got the sandbags out, preparing for flooding. Their high tide is going to hit a little after 3 p.m. So they are very concerned about that with all the rain we're getting. And definitely just take it slow as you come out today. Also, emergency officials in Montgomery County warning of potential smaller area power outages that could be happening as these tropical storm conditions do continue on today. But we're going to send it over to WSA 9's Evan Koslov in Haynes Point. Hi, Evan.
Yeah, hey there, Katie. Right now, we're here at Haynes Point, as you said, and we are starting to see the impacts of that tropical storm, which, as Miri was talking about, is still south of us. But that being said, we could kind of feel it in how it's a soggy, wet, windy day. I want to show you two things. First, if you look at the top of the boat here, you can get a sense of just how windy it is here. We've had gusts of winds where I'm seeing people really hold on to their hats, because it's pretty gross out here. And then the second thing is I'm just going to point out how high this water is here along the Potomac. And we should note, we're still about 2 hours away from high tide. That's here at Haynes Point. And so the water level should continue to rise here, at least by the Potomac. I want to show some video, if we can, of what it looks like over by the wharf. You can see that people are pretty much staying away, which is to be expected on a Saturday morning when it's wet and crummy out. People were not out there on the boardwalk there as the rain continued to come down, and like I was mentioning, that wind as well. But if we come on back out here to Haynes Point, I'll just end by saying that we have seen some people, despite the rain coming down, trying to get out and doing their exercise before it gets even worse. We saw some runners, one guy who was running without his shirt on. That's a decision. And then we even saw some people who are out here golfing. You can't let some bad weather get in the way of your golf day. So for now, I'll send it back to you, Miri, from here at Haynes Point, where it's wet and it's windy.
Yeah, I can see that is the case because I'm looking at it on radar right now. We're still in the early stages of what is happening right now. As we go on throughout the day and we continue to get those winds in, we'll likely be noticing more impacts, especially with the coastal flooding. That is going to be a big issue for us. So again, light rains of ban are falling across the area right now. Again, in some spots, if you are in Loudoun County, even parts of Frederick and northern Montgomery County, you may not be seeing much rain at this very moment, but those showers are on the way. So they're over DC right now. I'd say give it another half an hour or so, and then you'll get that next round of light rain to come over Loudoun County, and this will continue throughout the day. Same around Montgomery County, Prince George's County right now, seeing a break from the majority of the rain in southern Prince George's County, but in the northern edge, we've got some showers that are falling there as well. So that's going to be the pattern today, off and on bands of moderate to heavy rain. Most of the region has seen anywhere from half an inch, a few spots, isolated spots, estimates up to an inch, but we've seen the lion's share of the rain really falling across southern Maryland and near the eastern shore, and that's where we were anticipating some of the bigger impacts from this system. Radar estimates that nearly 2 inches have fallen around the Salisbury area. This is where Ophelia is heading next. So you're going to see it move up to the north and to the east. Now, as it's going to be near our area, this is Sunday at 8 a.m. This is the center of the storm could be anywhere within this cone. You'll notice that there's an L there instead of that tropical storm symbol. That is because it's going to lose its tropical features and no longer be a tropical storm as the center of that storm finally passes across our area. However, name or no name, this is certainly causing some big impacts for us as it will still be packing wind and rain across the region. So let's take a look at some of the tropical storm warnings that we have across St. Mary's and also Calvert counties included within that. And you've already seen some of the heavier impacts in those areas along the eastern shore. What you should know is that we're going to see rain between now and roughly Sunday at 11 a.m. and then after 11 a.m. on Sunday, those showers will become a bit more sparse, a bit lighter. It won't be as steady, and you may be able to squeeze in a few hours or so where it's not raining consistently on Sunday later on in the afternoon. But there still will be a few showers lingering on Sunday. We're in the thickest of the winds right now. Here is when we could see those winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. That is already verified. I've already seen that on the wind gust, and we could see gusts get as strong as 40 to 50 miles per hour. One of the reasons why we're under this wind advisory until 8 o'clock this evening. And when you got rain, you got wind, you're going to have impacts. And so we're looking at the potential for some power outages in some neighborhoods and some areas, especially if you get one of those stronger gusts, you could get a tree to come down. There could also be some flooding, in particular the low-lying spots that are prone to flooding and then coastal flooding. That's going to be our other big story. You saw our Evan Koslov off. On top of that, watching for those impacts. Next few hours look like this. 5 o'clock, yep, we are still drenched, and we're likely going to see, as that storm gets closer, more of those pockets of moderate to heavy rain working their way into the area. This is at 7 o'clock this evening, so at times you get a heavy band, then it will lighten up. Heavy band could come back. This is Saturday at 10 o'clock at night. Yep, we are still wet. I know I sound like a broken record, but we're still going to see that rain falling. It's going to take a while for this system to move out of the area, and we're going to just get wet until it does. This is your Sunday at 5:30 a.m., and then this is your Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. In the area, you start to see a smidge of improvement. You don't see as much rain. You see lighter showers, scattered showers, not as consistent. That's the pattern that we'll be heading into. And then this is Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we won't take the rain all the way out by tomorrow afternoon, but it will be much, much lighter, a bigger improvement, and you may be able to squeeze in some outdoor activities later on Sunday evening. Here's a look at the current wind gusts, and we can see that the bulk of the stronger wind gusts are along the eastern shore, but we still have had winds right now gusting up to 22 miles per hour in Leesburg and gusts of 30 miles per hour in D.C. at this hour. Over the next few hours, we could see those winds gusting even stronger, especially along the bay and the eastern shore. Annapolis looking at a peak wind gust around 43 miles per hour, potentially by about 5 o'clock or so this afternoon. So it will be a wet and windy day for all of us, which is why most of the region is under this wind advisory until 8 o'clock this evening for 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. 62 degrees right now. Since I came in this morning, we were in the upper 50s. We've only gone up by about a degree or two. With the rain, with the clouds, we are not seeing those temperatures go up very much today. By the hour, you're going to find the temperatures remaining in the 60s throughout most of today. 63 by 1 o'clock, right around 62 by 3 p.m. and mid-60s by 7 o'clock this evening with the rain falling. Now, I told you earlier that we already picked up on ½ an inch in some areas. There is much more to go. We could still see another 2 inches coming in areas such as Annapolis and the eastern shore, and another inch or so coming across parts of Metro D.C. So those raindrops will certainly be adding up, which is needed around here. You just hope that it doesn't cause other disasters. In terms of severe weather, we don't have a huge risk for severe storms, but rather hazardous weather that could cause, a little bit of flooding in the roads, perhaps, and trees to come down. But in terms of severe thunderstorms, we don't really have a huge risk for that today in the forecast. Where we could see 1 or 2 severe storms pop up would be around the eastern area, Cambridge, Salisbury, the same areas that we're watching out for the majority of the flooding as well. These areas could see a thunderstorm produce a damaging wind or even an isolated tornado. Now, with that being said, the risk is marginal, very small on a scale of 1 to 5. This would be a threat level 1, but it's possible. So we don't want to disregard it. We want to take that threat rather seriously. Coastal flooding, big issue for us. We have numerous coastal flood warnings and advisories. Essentially, all the DMV is under some kind of coastal advisory. So if you live along the waterways, along the river, along streams and creeks, watch out for that. Annapolis, especially Alexandria, we know those areas around King Street tend to flood. So these are things that we'll be watching out for as this storm continues to develop. And then there's storm surge warnings too along the lower edge of the bay around the Cape Charles area as well. So all these things to consider as we get the impacts. But in terms of flooding, a flood watch is in effect later on tonight for one portion of southern Maryland, but the rest of the region not included in that. With the rain being light and on and off, it should allow the ground enough time to absorb it before the waterways get a bit overwhelmed. The rest of your weekend looks like this. 65 degrees today. We're at 69 tomorrow with showers gradually ending in the evening. If you're heading out to the Commanders game, I would still bring your poncho, maybe a sweatshirt to keep yourself comfortable. You're only going to be in the 60s, and there will still be some showers left over. It probably won't be a washout of a game, but at times you could get a passing shower, especially as that game is starting and getting underway. So I would definitely still bring the rain gear, a towel, just to be comfortable. On your 7-day forecast, temperatures will be in the upper 60s tomorrow, and then we'll gradually get back to around 70 by Monday, 71 Tuesday, 70 Wednesday. Now you're noticing clouds on all of these days. We could see a stray shower pass by essentially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. However, it does not look like a washout, but certainly something that we will be watching for as well. Some dreary days ahead as fall 2023 gets underway. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll be back with more updates.